Hello and welcome to our World GHK Day celebration, where we'll explore topics, ideas that help you overcome your fear of disease and guide you towards the right direction in improving your knowledge. Before we begin, let me tell you that whatever we discuss in this presentation is for educational purpose only. Participants shall consult the medical doctor if they want to use any of the information. Students, you shall not use the information given in this presentation to write your examinations. Should any of you want to use this knowledge to heal, they can do it at their own risk. The intention of this presentation is just to introduce people to the healing knowledge. My name is Dr. Sarah, and I'm a holistic health coach. And my goal is to empower women and help them come out from that fear which holds them back and controls them and not let them develop. So I want them to be free from the fear of disease. That is why in my today's presentation, I would like to discuss how hypothyroidism is basic knowledge and how we can understand through the view of German new medicine. Before we jump onto hypothyroidism, we need to know about thyroid, the role of the thyroid, its development, its functions, how is it formed, what are the conflict we face, what is the healing phase. These are all according to the German new medicine. So thyroid, as we all know, is a very small butterfly shaped gland. Even though it's a small gland, it plays a very huge role. It controls our metabolism, it regulates our temperature. It's as if it's body's thermostat. Like if it's too fast, you'll burn out really easily. And if it's too slow, you'll feel sluggish. It controls our heartbeat, it controls our digestive process, it helps us burn our energy. This is the role of a thyroid. Each and every organ we develop when we are still in our mother's womb. Thyroid in one side has originated from oropharynx and has descended through tongue into the hyoid bone and directly into the throat. And as it's an endocrine gland, it releases the thyroxine into the bloodstream. Before the development, while it was still developing, thyroid was an exocrine gland. That means it released the hormones into the intestine. Now, why intestine? We're going to discuss that when we discuss about the germ layer. So, thyroid, it develops around week 3 in pregnancy. So by third week, it starts forming. By week 10 to 12, it starts producing its own hormones. That's where the growth happens, the brain development happens, and all the other energy systems and all the other systems in the body develops. So even before we are born, it's helping us prepare for the life on the outside. Okay, so this is what we are discussing, that in week 3 to 4, the formation begins. What happens is a small thickening of the endodermal tissue, which it appears at the base of the tongue. Okay, now this starts to descend down. So by week 5, the early form of gland, which has not been developed yet, it begins to migrate down the neck and it comes in front of the pharynx, which is not yet developed. By week 7, the gland reaches its final position in front of the trachea, below the larynx, which is a voice box. And by week 10 to 12, it produces its own thyroid hormones like T3 and T4, as we all know. So, in the beginning of the development, as I said, being an exocrine gland, it released its hormones into the intestine. And after the gullet broke open, it released the thyroxine directly into the bloodstream. Now, these are the germ layers: ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm. So, thyroid, as you all can see, is along with the digestive system, it is placed into the endoderm. So, during the embryonic development, the thyroid gland, it originated from the endodermal layer. It is the innermost layer of the three germ layers. This is significant. You know why? Because endoderm is primarily responsible for forming the lining of internal structures, as I just said, like your digestive, your respiratory. So, endoderm, it forms the lining of these structures. So, what happens is the thyroid, it begins as a small pouch at the base of the pharynx, throat area, and migrates down in the neck. So, this is what already discussed in the development phase. Now, we are all discussing how it has developed, what is the role of the at the brain level, at the organ level. So, as the thyroid is from endodermal tissue, it is functionally linked to brainstem, particularly to the parts that govern the basic primal survival function like metabolism and digestion, because that's the role of the brainstem. Now, other organs, like higher organs, what we call as, they are controlled by the cortex. The thyroid's behavior is more automatic, and it's tied to the primitive reflex of survival and adaptation without any conscious effort. So interestingly, if it's connected through brainstem, its lining is connected to the intestinal type of cylinder epithelial cells. Now, this mirrors its evolutionary roots. The thyroid is an offshoot from structures which are originally connected to the primitive gut. This type of tissue is specialized. The epithelial cells, what we're talking about, this type of tissues is specialized for secretion, absorption. That explains why thyroid is highly efficient and producing and releasing the hormones directly into the bloodstream. Now we need to know the correlation. Most of the, like many organs in the body, they are governed by the opposite side of the brain, like cross control. In thyroid gland, there is not crossover correlation. The right half of the thyroid is controlled by the right side of the brainstem, and the left half is controlled by the left side of the brainstem. Now, this reflects its deep primitive function, as we already said, about survival, about metabolism, about energy regulation, adaptation, stress management. So, this is all controlled from this level. Now, coming to the conflict. Now, this is very important because it's derived from intestine, from the process where metabolism and everything is happening. So, you can relate that it is going to be connected to the morsel conflict. So, what is morsel conflict? Morsel is what? It's not just food, you know. We will say it as a food because morsel is nivala food. But for the thyroid gland, when it comes to morsel conflict, it's anything important that you want to take in or anything important that what you want to push out. Since the thyroid controls the metabolism, that is how fast your body works, and the digestion, it tries to speed things up to help you catch or release this important muscle. Now, depending on which part, maybe right or left, which lobe of your thyroid is affected, and obviously the emotional shock can vary, the right thyroid lobe is an ingoing morsel conflict. Problem of catching or getting something very important what you want, and you were too slow to catch it. You feel like you missed an opportunity, a job. So your body tries to make the thyroid work faster so you can be quicker the next time when you face the same problem. Left thyroid lobe, which is outgoing morsel conflict. There's a problem where you're too slow to get rid of someone. So you want to get rid of a problem, rid of an obligation, a person, a physical waste. Your thyroid tries to speed up to help you throw it out faster. The message is you are too slow. You need to speed up to survive. So we shall discuss a bit more in detail because this is where we need to understand the morsel conflict. This morsel conflict will help you in every case, not only thyroid. If you're dealing with stomach problems or any problems related to respiratory, thyroid, stomach, you will be able to, this conflict will be able to help you and guide you. So in ingoing conflict, which is too slow to get something, let me tell you about what are the things that keep us going. Family, a business, a job, something we strongly desire, right? When these things becomes the reason for trauma, like for example, you lost the contract because you were too late to submit the presentation. You were unable to purchase the family home which you fell in love with at the first sight. Or trauma because of your own family. So the emotion which is connected here is I wasn't fast enough to get what I needed. And this is where you'll face the ingoing morsel conflict. Outgoing morsel conflict, which is the left half of your thyroid, which says you are too slow to eliminate the morsel. I wasn't fast enough to get rid of this. As I've shown here, a woman in a cage, especially women. Why women? Because nowadays the women are the one which we have noticed suffering from too many thyroid problems because they are trying to push themselves more than what they could do it. The feeling of powerlessness is always under them because they want to do more than their body can do it, like some, especially like if they are a single parent and they have to do so many things, manage the house, manage the job, manage the kids, so it becomes difficult for them to manage all the things together. So like the examples I've given here, like a work pressure, where we're too slow to end the bad relationship, where you're struggling to heal and release an illness quickly, like if you have been in the process of illness for too long and you feel like I could have done more better. If you had a business partner who was not of much help and you felt like I wish you didn't had this business partner, you could have removed him from your business before. So these are the feelings, these are like a trauma which you will keep suffering, and that could lead you for point that you feel quite under pressure, the point of keeping up to the expectation. So these are some of the conflicts which can activate your thyroid gland to consider it as a threat to its existence. So according to GNM, according to German New Medicine, your psyche, it perceives the trauma as too slow to take in, too slow to throw out. At the same time, your brainstem is affected, which passes the signal to your thyroid gland to proliferate so it could survive. So let's discuss conflict active phase. Now, this is the stage when the conflict is still active and at the same time, the biological changes or program is happening inside your body. So when you're stuck in this phase, when you're stuck in this stress, the thyroid cells, it starts multiplying because it thinks there is a danger, it's going to slow down, and because of that it needs to work harder for it, right? So the thyroid hormones, they will start producing in larger amount, and because of this there's too much proliferation of the thyroid gland cells. so that it could speed up the hypermetabolism and help you catch or get rid of that important morsel, that important goal, the opportunity, the danger. So the thyroid wants you to react faster to the life challenges, because if you're too slow, you might miss out or you stay stuck in the danger. So this is what happens. Cell proliferation and hyperthyroidism happens at this time. That is, improves the secretion of thyroxine to catch or get rid of the muscle. So while you're constantly thinking, there is a ring formation in your brainstem, and at the same time, the proliferation of your thyroid gland cell. And this is where the hyperthyroidism happens, because of the increase in the cells. So this is the second biological law. This is the cause effect, what we call it, isn't it? The Because of what increase in the cells has happened now, and your organ is trying to increase in size as well, and the same time causing it increasing its role to play as it should be, isn't it? So in hypothyroidism, which is classed as a second biological law, and you will notice in this stage where they are in a sympathetic mode, right? So depending on the extent of trauma, they will feel restless, anxious, rapid heartbeat, hot flushes. So depending upon the extent of the trauma, you will feel all the symptoms come up, because you are in a prolonged sympathogonius phase. After this phase, you can either go into a healing phase. Depends if you are quick to resolve your problem. This all comes onto you and the way you perceive the threat. So, according to the German new medicine and the law of nature, our body can heal by itself, right? So, hence, during the healing phase, the bacteria, it removes the cells which are no longer needed. That's the reason why you will notice pain, inflammation, thyroxine level will try to come to normal stage. But if that trauma cannot be healed and you do not make peace with yourself, it can lead to a prolonged sympathetic phase. And these symptoms can be present for long duration, and this can cause an effect on your thyroid, because the poor thyroid, he has its capacity too. So if the healing phase stretches, if you cannot make mend with the trauma, you will be stuck into this stage, your hyperthyroidism stage. And this stage can lead to the formation of goiter as well. We're not going into deep of that, uh, but quickly just an overview what could happen before we jump onto hypothyroidism. This is what happens. As we all know, normotonia is day and night. Your body is cool by day, warm by night. You're in a healing stage as you receive the morsel conflict, which is affecting your thyroid here. You go into a conflict active stage, affecting your brainstem, increasing of the cells, increase of the thyroxine, high blood pressure, sleeplessness, which I discuss about prolonged conflict can lead to goiter, prolonged sympathogonia. If you want to and you resolve the problem, the edema what has formed, it can exudate, it can pop, or it can be released in the system. But still there might be a bit of swelling, difficulty swallowing, inflammation, and that would be a decomposition stage. Now, if you cannot come in terms with the trauma, this is the stage of the epileptic crisis. This is the highest stage where you still complain of the spasms, restlessness, high blood pressure, cold sweats, and the continual conflict relapse can lead to hypothyroidism. This is where the scarring happens. This is the stage. That's the reason why the hypothyroidism happens. So while if you don't heal, you will go into this stage. If you heal, then you'll come back to your normal stage. So now we come to hypothyroidism. Hypothyroidism is a hanging healing phase. So according to German new medicine, if the trauma is not solved, it keeps on coming back to you like a nightmare. And after the thyroid gland has worked really hard for long, it gets tired now. It can't keep on producing too much of thyroxine, too much of cells, and forming, releasing the thyroxine, decomposition. And this stage keeps on overlapping. And at the end, it gives up. The healing could have happened by removal of the bacteria, but now the decomposition stage has increased. The gland cannot produce enough T3, T4 hormones anymore, and that's where your metabolism will slow down. Due to hypothyroidism, each and every organ in your body is affected. Remember that. Your digestive system, your heart rate, your brain function, your energy level. And that's why you may notice many symptoms like tiredness, weight gain, depression, slow digestion. Important point to note is that hypothyroidism is always preceded by the phase of hyperthyroidism. Even if it was silent, even if you didn't have a goiter, even if you didn't have any symptoms. So now as the gland tissue keeps getting decomposed, it loses its role of producing hormones. So now T3, T4 are not enough for the body. Your body is gone sluggish, your body is gone weak, you're tired, your weight is gaining, you're into depressive state. There's no energy left in your body. So what symptoms will you face? As there is no, this completely low. What's happening? The thyroid is like a thermostat. It's maintaining your digestive system, maintaining the metabolism. Everything has been maintained. So you are bound to be affected in each and every organ in your body. Your mental and emotional symptoms: fatigue, low energy, tiredness, mood swings, brain fog, slow thinking. Because thyroid influences the brain function, mood regulation, your metabolic symptoms: weight gain, cold intolerance, slow metabolism. Why? Because low thyroid hormone is reduces cellular energy metabolism. So slow metabolism. It affects your cardiovascular symptoms, so slow heart rate, puffiness, poor circulation. Why? Because thyroid hormone helps control the heart rate and the blood flow. Muscular symptoms like muscle weakness, cramps, joint pain, stiffness, slowed reflexes. Why? Because muscle tissues they slow down and joints may accumulate the fluid. Your gastrointestinal systems like constipation, sluggish digestive movement, bloating. Why? Because low thyroid hormone slows down the gut motility. Your skin, your nails, your hair, everything changes. There's reduced circulation, your reproductive system, your hormonal system, fertility issues. As it is, thyroid hormone are deeply involved in the menstrual cycle and fertility regulation. Your sleep, your mood swings, your anxiety, because body is running in low power mode, and that affects your neurotransmitters. In children, especially and infants, you will notice there is slow growth, poor school performance, low muscle tone, because it's development. It's critical for development, right? So your brain, your bones, it requires this hormone. So what can be done? What can you do that you can help yourself come out of this hanging healing phase? You can prevent your own body into going into these symptoms. Now, as a hypothyroidism patient myself and someone who has studied German medicine, I have learned a golden rule, and that is to come to peace with yourself and your situation. Forgiveness is a big part of healing. Forgive yourself for mistakes. Forgive others who hurt you. If you carry hate, guilt, or anger in your heart, you carry your trauma forever. Those who learn to forgive live with more peace. See the bigger picture. You cannot control your past. You cannot control your future. But you can choose how you respond now. So ask yourself, what lesson did I learn from this? How can I prevent falling into the same trap again? So, if you have missed the important deadline, instead of beating yourself up, learn to manage your time better next time. Accept yourself. You don't need to be like a cheetah to win the race. Even the tortoise wins because he keeps going without losing the faith. The problem is when the tortoise thinks he needs to be a cheetah. I hope the presentation, I understand it's a very short presentation, but I wanted to keep it short and sweet. So it must have helped you understand the role of the thyroid and hypothyroidism and hypothyroidism. Now, this is not the end. You can heal yourself by connecting physically, spiritually, and emotionally with your true self. You can reach out to me. You can learn more about through our website. You can understand your biological conflicts. You can heal naturally through awareness, through inner peace. So I thank Dr. Varghese sir and the team again. Sorry, I didn't thank them before, but I should have. Sorry. So I thank Dr. Varghese sir and the team for giving me this opportunity to come out of my shell and speak a bit about my role as a German new medicine mentor. Thank you.